Hello, this is Nicolette. We're doing something a little bit different today for the Your Petty Friend podcast. Kevin has graciously allowed me to have my own episode with Zan, and I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm really excited too. So
Let's get weird.
yeah.
That's the theme of this.
Yeah, so Zan and I have known each other not that long,
Yeah.
which is a little bit different from the past episodes that we've done. We've had like a lot of older friends from the past kind of come back around, but I thought since this is my first episode, we'd change the dynamic a little bit. We met back in March? I don't remember.
It feels like so long ago, honestly.
Yeah, it
but
really
I think
wasn't.
yeah, I don't think it was. It must have been like February or March, I think.
Yeah. And it was on a
That's
Zoom
so crazy
call.
to think. Yeah.
Yeah, it was still cold because
It was.
we met up at a Soho house after, and it was still raining
Yeah.
and cold. So it was
I
somewhere
think
in
it was
the winter.
Grammy week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, so we met on a Zoom call, and then I had like a +1 to this event, and I just asked if you wanted to come, and we've been kind of like friends
Yeah.
ever since.
Yeah. It's been fun.
Yeah. So
That really feels like a lifetime ago. That's like
it
blowing
really
my mind a little
feels-
bit.
Yeah, it's not that long ago, but it feels like it is.
Yeah.
And I don't really. My first impression of you is different than my impression of you now.
Was I awkward? Because I
Well,
get that a lot.
I was awkward too. Like
Okay.
I'm like the worst at all of that stuff. And then we met on a Zoom call,
Yeah.
which is also we met on a Queer Capita and Rant, was
Yeah.
it? Yeah. So for those that don't know, Queer Capita is an organization with music professionals, and then Ramp is for people with like ADHD and things
Yeah,
like
for like disabilities and
Yeah.
like they both are like so obviously I guess in the name it's implied
Yeah.
that it's for queer music professionals, but they're both like advocating for
just more representation.
Yeah, I was like, why
guess.
can't I
Yeah.
talk?
No, and it's a little awkward. It's fine. But yeah, so that was the Zoom call. Randomly signed up, and yeah, I've been trying to like make more friends in the queer community, and so I think that was a really nice thing to come out of it. It's just
Yeah.
getting to meet you, and I
Yeah.
met a couple other people there too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's a good group. I mean, I've Ramp, that was my first time hearing about them, but Queer Capita I think only started doing LA events like in
Yeah.
January. So I've been going to a lot of those, which has been cool because then I'm also meeting like more queer people in music. I feel like my friend group in music has always been like very straight, which is
Same.
fine. You know, like we love diversity.
We love the straight people.
Yeah. It's not their fault. It's like it's always that thing of like, what if we talked about straight people the way that they talk about us? Like,
Well, sometimes I do.
oh, I genuinely do.
Yeah, no, I use the phrase "the straights"
Yeah.
to my very like heterosexual
Yeah.
parents the other day, and they're like, "What are you talking about? Like, what do you
I'm
mean?
literally talking about you.
Like the straight people? What do
Yeah.
you like the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we talk about you that way
Yeah.
sometimes, and the concept of that was like so foreign. You know
Right.
what I mean? And I don't know, not to get into like politics, but it's like they consider us weird.
Right.
And I'm just like, no, to us, you guys are weird.
Ye-
I don't know.
100%.
Like, and I'm not even like that far into it, into like building my queer community because it's been so predominantly like straight up
Yeah.
until kind of recently, like last couple of years. But I already kind of feel that like kind of sense of mindset change,
Yeah.
which I find so interesting. So I don't know.
It is interesting. I was talking to my friend last night who is straight, and she was like, "Man, I just came from a straight party, and like, it was weird because she like really only hangs out with like us, like all of the gays,
Yeah.
And she was like, "Is that what we're all like? Like, I don't. No wonder I don't like to hang out with straight people." And I was like, "I don't know what to tell you. I'm so sorry that you had that unfortunate."
It's yeah. I can't describe it. I don't necessarily. I don't know what it is. There's a difference. That's all I
Yeah.
can say.
There is definitely a difference.
So there's just a difference between the gays and the straights, and
Yeah.
that's how we call you and how we refer to
Right.
straight people. But yeah, so that's fun.
Yeah, right.
how did you, is there a difference between how you perceived me back then versus now, like getting to know me a little bit better? That's kind of a question that we
I
like
think
to
I
ask
was like,
sometimes.
I feel like I'm always so awkward. So I'm just like sitting there being like, am I being weird?
No, I
So I
feel
was
like
like,
that too.
but I'm trying to think of like what my impression was. I mean, obviously like you seemed cool, like I kept hanging out with you.
Yeah.
So I think that was my impression.
I think, well, for me, it was like, I thought you were more introverted
Uh-huh.
in the beginning,
Yeah.
and then I kind of got to know you better. I'm like, oh, no,
Oh,
no.
yeah, no, I take a minute.
Yeah.
Because literally I'm sitting there being like, am I being weird?
So,
Can they
yeah.
hear what I'm thinking?
I'm
Just
the
kidding.
same way too, to some degree. I don't necessarily, I feel like I have to be extremely comfortable to
Yeah.
really let my weird side out.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
I do
so,
too. And like, it's funny because I feel like when people meet me, they like usually think that I'm a bitch because I'm just like
oh, I
not
get that
talking.
too.
But it's like but I am kind of introverted, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, when I'm like out with my friends that I've been friends with for like 10 years, like that's a very different story. But when I'm like meeting new people, especially like at work stuff, I'm like a little more like kind of like feeling out the situation, I think. And like I said, I'm just like in my head being like, stop being weird.
Yeah. But well, you're really good on stage. We went to
Oh, yeah.
that other event, and you were actually like one of the panelists, and I was just like,
Yeah.
that's dope. I can't do that.
It's different. So it's like, I mean, I grew up doing theater,
Yeah.
so go figure, I'm a theater kid. But there's something about being on stage because you can't really see the audience versus like doing a presentation in an office where like everybody's looking at you like that. I would
Yeah.
like start sweating and be like, I made a presentation.
Yeah.
But like being on stage, I mean, I was definitely a little nervous. That was also my first time moderating anything like ever. But yeah, once you kind of get going, and again, like you can't really see the audience, so like it's great. You just like
Yeah.
in a bubble, in a zone.
And I think the panel that you had with they were really like charismatic
Yeah.
marketing people too.
Yeah.
So that was a really nice panel.
Yeah,
for
that was a
sure.
great panel. Everybody on that panel was so great and like so good at what they do too. So it was like amazing.
Yeah. That works out.
Yeah, I was like, this works out so well for me. Y'all are making me look so good. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
That worked out.
Yeah, no, it really did.
So you worked in music.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about like what you did in music and then
Yeah.
versus what you do now?
So I started out in management because back then I was just like, I just need like a job in music. I don't even know, like, I just need to get a job and then I can figure it out from there. So I spent a couple years in management, which was fun. Like, I worked with a lot of like really, really cool artists, but like, I was just like, this is not for me. Like, I want to do something like definitely more creative. And then from there, I went into like more on the sync stuff and like publishing. And so I was working with like a lot of songwriters, creating music for like film, TV, ads, whatever. I feel like I did like a little bit of everything. My friend was helping me with my resume a couple months ago, and she was like, "You did all of that under that job title?" And I was like, "Was I not supposed to?" And she was like, "Oh no, I'm just surprised. Like you did a lot." And I was like, "Oh, cool." But yeah, I would like set up sessions with other writers. I would like pitch stuff all the time. So just like a little bit of everything. And then I got laid off, which is fine. And I've just kind of been like freelancing, like figuring things out. But right now, sorry, I'm like, I have so many thoughts. I'm
No,
like,
no,
ugh.
go for it.
So right now I am freelancing for the National Hispanic Media Coalition. They work for like the parity of the Latinx community like throughout media, and then they do like advocacy work like in DC and stuff, and like really trying to like make positive change for our community in media mostly. Where was I going with this? I'm freelancing for them. Okay, so I'm doing like their social media stuff. I'm just like basically making like videos about like different TV shows that are out or like different artists. But I'm also trying to like help them get into the music space more.
Yeah.
So, which has been fun. Like this week, I actually have like a call with a management company about like doing some stuff with some of their artists for like whatever, whether it's like shows coming up or music video premieres or like, you know, whatever, just like really trying to like get feelers out there.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. And it's nice because like I've known that team for so long and like been friends with them. I volunteered for that organization before. Like they've been really great about like sort of giving me like the creative freedom to like do whatever I want, like explore whatever I want. Like I run everything by them. Like I pitch them stuff all the time, but they're like, oh my God, I love that. That's great. What about this? Like, so it's like, it's nice being on a team where like your knowledge and your background and your creativity are like not taken for granted, I guess,
Yeah.
and like really encouraged. So it's been fun. I'm excited. And then, yeah.
That's really exciting. I
Yeah.
think, when you were telling me about it the other day, trying to make it like more of a platform for emerging Latin artists,
like,
essentially.
and whether it's even just like not even just like in music too, like, for studios that have stuff coming out, like other new TV shows or whatever. NHMC has like a ton of relationships in that space. So my friend who works there like has been really good about like connecting me with some people. We're like working on some panels, which is really exciting. I'm excited about that. I'm like, oh my God, am I hosting panels now? Is that what I do?
Like in person or?
I think over Zoom,
Yeah.
most likely, because it's like everybody lives all over. But who knows? Like, who knows what it'll evolve into? But like, I'm excited.
Yeah.
So
That is exciting.
yeah.
I'm trying to get better at the volunteer aspect, but I haven't fully
Yeah.
found my organization yet. I reached out to Queer Capita, so we'll see
Oh, yeah.
where that goes. But
They're cool. I like them.
they're a cool
Yeah.
organization. I met with someone on their New York team, and so we'll see where that goes. But yeah, I think like I've worked in nonprofit sectors like one event at a time, but I haven't really been like fully immersed into it.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's like my goal for like the second half of this year to get like more involved in that way.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
I haven't done it in a minute, but like I did some volunteer stuff for like the LGBT Center at one point. And then I also, have I ever told you that I volunteer for an organization called Way Out?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so Way Out does stuff for like organizations throughout the U.S. that like help LGBT youth in like the Bible Belt or like rural areas, like places where there just like isn't access to stuff. And so every year, each chapter partners with a different organization from like a pool of applicants that we get every year, and then we spend the whole year fundraising for them. And so we do like different events, like we did drag bingo the other day. Like we have a big gala at the end of the year that's like our big fundraiser, and like
That's fun.
yeah, it's cool. And it's like it's a pretty big organization, like the LA chapter at least. So and it's all volunteer based, so you can do as much or as little as like you can, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't want to say like as little, but like we do have people that like strictly come in and they just help for like events, and they're like, I can't attend every meeting, but like if you need somebody to like do things like the day of or whatever, like I'm here for that, so it's cool.
Yeah. I volunteered for Los Photos Project. I don't know if you've heard of them, but it's like an organization. I'm not much of a photographer, but I kind of go in just for that, just to help out with like events and stuff like that. I have only done it once, but I've been meaning to go back into it again.
Yeah.
It's just hard sometimes, it's like most of their events or fundraisers are on like the weekend, and
Yeah.
I'm already kind of like not booked, but I have this and I have like other things that I'm trying to get, I don't know, going to, I guess. But yeah, that's really exciting. And yeah, I hope the panel thing sounds really interesting too. Is that like open to anybody that can watch, or is that more of a closed organization sort of thing?
No, so I'm trying to think of like, I think we'll like record it and then put it up. I think that's how they usually do it.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it could be live.
Yeah.
I'll
I don't
talk to them
know.
about that.
I mean, I think Zoom had to increase their capabilities on that because of the whole like campaign.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think we would have
yeah.
that many people.
Fair,
It'd be cool.
but,
Like, oh my
yeah.
God, I'm so popular. Oh my God, me. And it's like, actually, no, the people on your panel are interesting, not you. But
I mean, I don't know. It's just things are different now. The way like, I think I was reading an article or something along those lines, and I was talking about like the difference between 2020 and now. Because 2020 was during COVID, and so everybody had to figure out how to campaign for their candidate over Zoom.
yeah.
And so now it's a combination of both, and of them doing in-person events and Zoom, and it's like, you can tell that like one side's a lot better at it than the other.
Yeah. You can guess which one.
Yeah. I'm wearing red, but it's more for like Olympics.
Okay.
Just to hit
I just
that
think like
out.
red's like a great color, so
I mean, it's not not the same hue.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit
There you
darker,
go.
a little bit more crimson. So I should be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time I wear red, I'm just like, I don't know what this says about me.
Right. I mean, I was told that I look good in red, so when I wear red, I'm like, it's because somebody said I look
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So it's annoying that they kind of hijacked that.
I know.
But
But we can like
anyway,
reclaim it.
we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I really liked Meg the Stallion's outfits for
Yeah.
the Georgia event.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, I need like a cutoff suit now. I
Right.
don't know.
Wait, are you watching the Olympics?
Yeah,
Okay.
more or less.
Yeah.
I watched the rugby, the U.S.
Okay.
rugby
Yeah.
versus Australia, I think it was. Yeah. So I watched that, but just like the highlights of it.
Yeah.
And we kind of talked about this. Alana Mar is like
Yes.
a superstar coming
Yeah.
out of this. And I love that
Yeah.
because I started following her before because she was like at an influencer event. And I just remember she was just like, she draws so much attention and in such a great kind of magnetic personality kind of way. So like all this attention that she's getting is like really exciting.
Yeah.
Kind of like, obviously Chapel Roan's kind of getting a lot of attention right now
Yeah.
too. And it's, that's really exciting too.
Yeah.
It's nice to just see women getting attention.
Yeah,
and,
getting their
like,
due.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Lana is so. I started following her because of the Olympics, but I think she's so smart and she's so well spoken, and she's also very funny. So like,
and also very feminine.
Yeah.
And I just, she just kind of does whatever she wants.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's one that everybody, I think, was hoping she was gay.
I know.
But whatever. To each their own, I
Right.
guess. I feel weird about saying that, but that's fine. But yes, it's nice to see that. It's nice to see, artists. This summer has been very, very weird
Yeah.
in terms of like lesbian representation
Yeah,
in like the best way possible.
yeah, I'm living for it.
I was not prepared for it.
No,
and
not at all.
it's gotten to the point where it's like people who would have never admitted to listening to like a queer artist are like, have you heard of Chapel Roan? I'm like, how have you heard of them?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my God, my friend a couple months ago, I woke up to a text message and she's like, "Hey, you're a lesbian. You like Chapel Roan, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually,
Fair enough.
yeah,
Yeah.
honestly." But I'm glad that you're getting into Chapel Roan now too. And she's like, I guess she has two like little toddler aged kids, I think. I know she has two kids. I'm trying to remember what their ages are, but they're little, and they both know the HOTTO
to go
dance.
That's
Yeah,
so cute.
and they like live for it, and I'm like, oh, I love that.
Yeah. And then the other day, we were at Fangirl Cafe.
Yeah,
And it never occurred to me that event was because of the Lollapalooza
Yeah.
set
Yeah.
until they like posted about it later. And I was like, that's so weird that it's at 3 p.m. Well, I mean, it's 3 p.m. here,
right.
but it's at
5,
whatever,
yeah.
5
Yeah.
at Lollapalooza. I still thought it was weird. It's like, that's a weird time to put her on a Thursday.
Yeah.
And just because she drew such a huge crowd at Coachella,
Yeah.
you would have thought they would have given her like a better time slot. But I guess, I don't know. I think all of that is negotiated beforehand. I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
So I think somebody will correct me if I'm very wrong, obviously, but I think what happened, I think it was Lollapalooza, but obviously they booked this like a long time ago, like pre-Coachella, pre her like really blowing up. And then because of the crowds that she's been drawing at every festival, they were trying to switch her to a bigger stage. And I think Kesha was the one who was like, I'll do it, I'll switch. And so it was just like a matter of like when Kesha was playing, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
That
This actually
might-
happened with Cardi B at Coachella, like, I want to say like 7 years ago. I don't know if you ever read about how she was operating at a loss for that Coachella set.
I feel like they all do to some degree.
Probably.
Yeah.
But she like had said in interviews that she only got paid $70,000. And I don't remember if that was for each weekend or both weekends, but they had booked her. She was like at like 4 p.m. on a Sunday, which was like kind of like a no man's land time, you know, like
Yeah.
everybody's like done by Sunday. Also, it's like 4 p.m., you know?
It's like kind of early.
Yeah,
The
it's like a
people that
weird
do
time.
say they're probably not going to get there at 4 p.m.
Right.
Yeah.
But like they booked her so far in advance because they have to. And then in the interim, she like blew up like crazy. And so, you know, she obviously like spent a lot of money on like dancers and like the set and like making her set really cool. She was like, I mean, I'm not complaining. Like, it's just that I got booked so long ago. And like, obviously, had they booked me a month ago, it would be a very different story. It'd be like different time slot, different rate, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, but I mean, that happens all the time. You have to book those things like almost a year in advance, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, the footage that was coming out of that set time was just amazing.
Yeah.
And then the theme was wrestling or lucha libre, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. Yeah. And then she had all those dancers. I was like, hello?
Yeah, no, I didn't see any of that. I just walked into Fangirl Cafe and it was on the TV,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, all I see is this like bodybuilder behind her,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, what is happening?
Yeah. I loved it.
It was so good.
Yeah.
And then it was really fun to be just around like just queer women
Yeah.
having a good time.
Screaming anytime there was a lag.
Yeah.
The way that everybody was like,
It
sorry,
would like
I need to yell into the microphone.
well, it would like it's off the internet, so
Right.
they would be like, you know, it would buffer for like 2
Right.
seconds, and everybody would have like a panic attack, and
Right.
I'm just like, everybody needs to calm down.
But I loved it. I was like the collective terror in this cafe right now. Like, please don't take
Put it
Chapel
back
away from
on.
us.
And then yeah, I really like. I think you told me about it, and
About Fangirl?
yeah, about Fangirl, and that's always been kind of like not a dream, but I don't know, just the idea of having a cafe has always
Yeah.
been like the cliche of mine of like having my own cafe and
Yeah.
having like art on the walls and all that stuff. So it's a really nice, like, I will try to do whenever because I'm coming from Long Beach,
Right.
I'll try to do like a couple things. That day I just came for Chapel Roan and all of them. Like, I ended up not doing anything else that day.
Yeah, I know. I was sitting there and I thought about bringing my laptop, and then I was like, I don't know. And then I forgot to turn in my timesheet.
Yeah.
And I'm literally on my phone, like trying to do like Excel, and I was like, this is so difficult.
Yeah.
And then I kept getting sidetracked because I was like, I wanted to watch the live stream, and I was like, I'm busy.
Yeah. But it was fine. I ended
was
up
fine.
having my laptop and I actually had like a project to do. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I also like texted my client. I'm just like, this is what I'm doing right now. And she like loved that.
Yeah, you're like, it's homophobic if you tell me to stop. So,
It's like there's a little bit of a lag.
yeah.
But this is why.
Right. I promise I will get it to you. I'm just doing very important things right now.
She was very supportive.
Good.
So that was good.
As she should be.
As she
As she should be. And you should be like, you know what? You should close your laptop for a little bit and watch the live stream.
She probably, I don't know, she's someone in music, so obviously, I mean, I don't normally, I haven't done that, like actually sat through a live stream during the workday in like such a long time.
Yeah.
Because I'm remote, and even if there is a live stream that I remember to like pay attention to, I usually forget.
Yeah.
But because this was like, you know, specific time, it was like I'm trying to get better about, you know, getting out of my house at least once a week to
Yeah.
like work out of a cafe, because I think like as much as I like being remote, I do feel like I need to be around people at least
Yeah.
once in a while.
Yes. Right? I'm like, for the most part, I'm like, oh my God, working from home is a dream. And then I'm like, I haven't seen a person in like 5 days.
Right. It's like I love my dog, but
Yeah.
I need to be talking to something.
Thank God I have a
human.
dog because I go outside.
Yeah. Same. I was just like, yeah. So I've been doing that, and so that was, I don't know, just sitting there and like watching a live stream
Yeah.
with other people in the room, because I haven't really been working with music that much, and usually, like I said, like being remote, I'll have it on the computer, but
Yeah.
it's like it's a different experience when you're by yourself and just like
Right.
chilling
And
and
you're
watching
just, it's
it.
like
And,
background noise almost.
right,
Yeah.
pretty much. So it was distracting, but in like the best way
Right.
possible. Yeah.
I love that cafe. That and Cynthia, who are the two owners, are like the nicest people in the world. Like, I love them so much. And I'm super happy that like the cafe is like up and running and like happening, and they're doing events, and like everybody talks about it and everybody talks about how great it is. So I'm like super happy for them.
Yeah, if they want to like, I don't know, expand to Long Beach.
I mean,
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
Throwing that out there.
yeah.
Um,
The Charlie Billy
oh yeah,
remix.
obviously. Well,
Speaking
yeah.
of lesbian summer.
Oh my gosh. So that's you had talked about it.
Yeah, because it came
It
out
ca-
at 3 p.m. and we were meeting at 3 p.m. But I was late.
So
because,
I didn't know.
Yeah.
And your reaction was like, you haven't seen it yet. When you
will,
do,
yeah.
when you do. And then right after the stream, they put it up. And
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I need to watch that 6 more times.
I was
least.
not mentally prepared for that at all. I'm like, oh, you weren't joking. Like,
You know, on the walk to the cafe, I think I listened to it like 4 times. And I was texting my friend about it, and he was like, "You've only listened to it 4 times." I was like, "Okay, first of all, I was busy. I was watching Chapel Brown, so like,
There's only so many things, lesbian things you can
Right.
consume at one time.
right? It was for another lesbian, so like, I think I get a pass.
Right.
But I will listen to it another 4 times on the walk home, which I did.
Right.
It was so good.
No, I've listened to it a few times.
Yeah.
I've watched it a few times.
Yeah.
It's all over my TikTok. So.
Yes. The way that I squealed on the streets of Santa Monica when Billy's verse ended, I was like, are you kidding me? Did that just happen?
Also, just very like the age difference between them is so funny to me because that is kind of, I don't know, like I'm, being older and trying to go out, the crowds tend to skew a lot younger. And I still get attention. I'm not saying that like I don't, but whenever I do, it very much feels like a Billie Eilish type person that gives me that attention, and I'm just like,
But like I'm like a solid decade older.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, appreciate the feedback, like
Right.
the attention, but I find that really interesting.
Yeah.
I obviously like when going from dating men to dating women has a lot of huge differences, but the age difference from younger women or the attention that has been like such an adjustment for me. But yeah,
I just have no idea how old anybody is anymore. I just know that they're younger
I
than
can't
me.
tell. Yeah.
There was a girl, like 2 years ago, I was at some event and I was waiting at the bar, and like this girl looked at me and I was like, why is she looking at me? Does she know me? And then I looked at her and I was like, oh, I don't know her. And I was like, oh no, I think she just saw me looking at her. And she looked at me again and I was like, I'm so sorry. I thought that maybe we knew each other, but we don't know each other. And she was like, oh my God, And then she was like, oh, is it your first time at this bar? Or have you been here before? And I was like, yeah, but it's been a long time. And she was like, oh, it's my first time. But I also just turned 21, so I guess it's my first time in a lot of bars. And I was like,
Walk away.
I mean, it wasn't even like
It wasn't
flirting with her,
like-
but I just was
yeah.
like, oh my God, I literally have no idea how old people are. And she was like, how old did you think I was? Because I think I made a face by accident. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like 26 or something. I was like, it's also very
Right.
dark. It's not that you look older. And I don't.
Yeah, I don't necessarily. It feels weird.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, it's one thing when it's like, it's the early 20s that weird me out.
Yeah.
And I just think, just some people just look older than what they are.
Yeah.
And then I just kept thinking about that because Billie is only 21.
Oh, yeah, huh?
And it's just like, when I first saw her live at I think it was 2019 Coachella. And she was 16.
Yeah.
And the way she was performing at 16, she did not come off as like a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to me that she's like only 21. And then Charlie is 32, which is great too.
Yeah.
Which is like, I mean, I feel more validated in the way I'm living my life.
Well, Charlie also has been performing since she was a teenager, too.
Right. She's been around forever.
Yeah, she got discovered on MySpace of all things.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. She was just uploading stuff to MySpace, and somebody discovered her, and she was playing club gigs and stuff as a teenager.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me feel not better, but I watched her Boiler Room set. I want to say on Thursday or something like that. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I struggle with am I getting too old for this?
Yeah.
Am I delusional in being here, but then I'm also like, no, it's fine. I
Yeah.
don't do it all the time. The times I do, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. It's just having a social life. I don't know.
Oh yeah, obviously. But I just mean that like there's like I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. But you get what I mean. Yeah.
Should I take a break?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Let's get some water.
Did you see that clip of Charlie on, I think it was Jimmy Fallon?
No.
He's just asking her questions, so I thought I could ask you the same questions.
Yeah. Ask me weird questions.
Well, they're just about music.
Okay.
I thought her answers were so funny.
Oh, I need to watch that.
So maybe we can watch that right now.
Okay. Also, you saw the Chapel Jimmy interview, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She was so odd.
She's so funny, though.
I know, but like, I just love how uncomfortable he was with her.
Right. Well, she was like, did you have to Google me? Did you not know who I was? Yeah. She's like, it's okay, I Googled you too. I was like, girl, yes, you're so quick. Chapel was a star.
Let me see. We can talk about...
Oh, wait, also the Jimmy Fallon thing.
Oh, right.
Out of the emo phase, like, immediately, and go for, like, an iconic piece of art.
He asked her, what's the best breakup song?
Okay.
Art, like, I Got a Feeling by the Black Eyed Peas.
Really?
Yeah, just, like, get out there. Like,
Oh, no.
I got a feeling.
Oh.
You know?
We're different.
You want to cry?
I got the Bangles' Eternal Flame right now.
No, Jimmy!
All right, best first dance on your wedding night.
Okay, I have a controversial choice here because I feel like I haven't been to a lot of weddings, but I've heard about a lot of weddings, and I feel like
Probably the funniest thing ever. I love it.
okay, this is not. I'm not being shady here, but I feel like All of Me by John Legend gets chosen a lot, and I think that's lovely, but I don't want that.
No.
If I ever get married,
No,
because I'm just like, come on, like. Let's like heat it up. Let's like get everyone on the dance floor. So I want the Macarena.
It's so good.
I mean, it keeps going. I don't have the full one, but I wanted to ask you, what song do you listen to after a breakup?
Oh, man. I'm with her. I don't listen to sad stuff. I want, like, something that's, like, gonna get me going. When Robin was coming out with her new album, like 10 years ago now, something crazy.
Okay.
It had been like years and years and years and years between albums. But somebody had described it like as just like heartbreak on the dance floor,
Okay.
like her music. And I think that's very true. I mean, like Dancing on My Own, when you really listen to it, is like a very sad song.
Yeah.
But it is so fun. Like the way that everybody screams when that intro comes on and like runs the dance floor.
Yeah.
That's like my perfect.
That's your post-breakup song.
Yeah.
Okay. Mine is not that.
Okay. Is it sad?
And it's not sad, but it's like, so I think like when it comes to relationships, if I feel like I'm just another person on your roster,
Yeah.
I lose interest real quick. And I just kind of like, for whatever reason, I like the song that I always gravitate towards is Only One by Jessie Reyes.
Okay.
And it's like, I don't want somebody that's for everybody. And so it just kind of like repeats that into my head. It's like, this is why this didn't work out sort of thing. And it's like, I don't know, whenever I'm dealing with someone and I feel like I'm just another person on the roster, that I end up trying to like get back at them or whatever. And that's like not exactly the vibe I want.
Right.
And so it just ends up falling apart and then bye, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of like, it's more like I just want a song that gives me like reassurance.
Yeah.
So I end up listening to like kind of like not sad songs, but like lovey-dovey R&B that kind of center around heartbreak, but like not in like a super depressing way. But yeah, I when I listen to like dancey music, it's more when I just want to have fun and all that stuff. So I go through that too. Like I will seek that out too.
Yeah.
But I do have to go through a little bit of like a emo phase.
Yeah.
But like sad R&B, not like actual emo. Like,
Yeah. I think because I just like want to be like, I'm good. Like, I want to like find myself again, you know, and that kind of thing. And like, so like aggressive pop is like my thing.
Yeah.
You know?
That's fun.
Yeah.
I think Karma is obviously it's like a great breakup song, post breakup song.
Oh my God, My Kink is Karma was my number one played song a couple years ago. Literally, I was like doing so much driving to San Diego to see my family that year and like just listen to it like on repeat there, back all the time. It's so good. Just like screaming it in my car.
Yeah. I mean, you did it for karaoke. I'm like, she's done that a few times.
In the car, yeah, in the privacy of my vehicle.
But you did it on stage too, so that was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun is a word.
Yeah. I thought it was cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm bad at this, but it's fine.
I'm bad at karaoke, so it's fine.
Honestly, I feel like Jimmy Fallon's not that great at his job, and he has a whole talk show.
You know,
so
I know a lot of people who are mediocre at best at their jobs, and they have a lot of career longevity.
Yeah, fair enough.
So fake it till you make it.
Exactly. So the next question was best first dance at your wedding. And she said Macarena. I thought that was really funny.
I also love her being like, what was it that she said? I haven't been to a lot of weddings, but I've heard of them.
Yeah, I've heard of weddings.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is like, did you ever think about like your wedding, like growing up?
No.
Okay. There was a trend that was going, this is such a departure. This is what happens when you have friends with ADHD.
You attract friends with ADHD, yeah.
But at least I never run out of things to talk about.
Right.
But there was like a trend on TikTok that was like girls posting their 2012 Pinterest boards for their weddings. And it was like, you know, like a lot of like mint and gray chevrons and like, I don't know, it was just like aggressively 2012. And I was like, I never did that. And not even like it just like never occurred to me. And I've just never been like, oh, I like need to get married or I want to get married. And I think part of it, like even before I like really thought that I was queer, I just was like, I don't want to live with a man.
Right. It's such a heteronormative thing. And I think it's like my friends, like I don't remember that trend, but I remember sitting in the airport with my friend and she was seeing someone and they were very much on the track to get married. They're married now. But she was talking to me about her ring and everything that she wanted and she was showing me pictures. And then she asked me, like, what do I want? And I'm just like, honestly, I never gave it much thought. And then she just looks at me and she's like, that does not surprise me at all.
Yeah. Literally have like never thought about it. I was talking to one of my friends who is straight. I think I saw like on a TV show or something, like the boyfriend going to pick out a ring for the girl. And I was like, I would never trust a straight man to pick out jewelry for like, and you're supposed to wear that every day for like, you know, theoretically till the day that you die. And so I was like, what if they pick something ugly and you hate it and you have to like wear it? My friend was like, oh no, girls will like they like will send pictures to like the jeweler or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, do they really? That's smart.
I mean, there's a couple ways. Like usually they assign a friend.
Yeah.
And it's like that friend is like, okay, when you're starting to think about rings for me, talk to this person because they know what I like or they know what I want. And then there's other people who are very much like, this is exactly what I want. It's at this jeweler.
Yeah.
You go and you pick it up.
Right. Whenever you're ready.
When you're ready.
Which is soon,
that's
hopefully.
Where it is.
Yeah.
They know what I want and that's what you're going to do. It just depends on the relationship and it depends on how much you trust the boy.
Right.
I have heard of situations where the guy will just like wing it and just pick something out of his own taste. And I'm just like, that is so... I want to say confident, but really arrogant.
Yeah.
I think. Like, I don't know. I just, I can't like, I don't know. I can't see a guy making the right choice the first time. And it's like such an expensive purchase. Like,
Right. And
I
also,
don't know.
you have to wear it every day.
Right.
So, like, you have to like it.
Yeah. But I don't know, straight relationships have always been kind of an issue for me because I never really saw myself as like that very traditional,
Yeah.
like, we could talk about ballerina,
Oh, yeah,
Farms,
yeah.
that girl. I don't know.
That article gave me so much anxiety. And this is obviously not what's at play there, but like, again, like before I even really like knew that I was queer, the anxiety that I had about like ending up like that, I guess.
Yeah.
That was like in the back of my head, the worst nightmare for me. And obviously that's not a nightmare for everybody, but like that was a nightmare for me for some reason. And then come to find out like, oh, it's because I didn't want to marry a man.
Right. There's this very weird anxiety that comes from it.
Yeah.
And you can't really explain it.
As a
and it's
child, I had that
Yeah.
anxiety.
I mean, I struggled with my sexuality because I do like men, but I've basically realized I just like having them as bros.
Yeah.
And I like, I'm still attracted to them to some degree. I'm not
Yeah.
saying I'm not, but it's like that anxiety of like committing to a man
Yeah.
is so real.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really figure out what it was. And I think I just don't see myself ending up with like a man in that capacity.
Right.
Like being married. And I think also just, I don't know, guys now, straight women don't want to get married to men.
No. No. And I mean, I think it is an interesting like cultural shift, like away from, don't get me started talking about marriage actually. Because
I know, we started with like a Jimmy Fallon thing, but we'll go back to that eventually.
At some point, but I'm not joking that like this is a rant that I just have in the back of my head all the time.
Let it out.
So I went to Catholic school my whole life.
Right.
And in high school, I had the resident priest of the high school was my religion teacher one year. And he was talking about, did something happen?
That's okay.
Okay.
Well, let's just keep going.
Okay. So the resident priest, we're talking about sacraments, I think. And so we're talking about the sacrament of marriage. And obviously he's not married. He's a priest. He's never been married. But people were like, if you were to get married, like, what would be your dream wedding? He's like, honestly, my dream wedding is the one where, like, the bride and groom greet everybody at the door, like, going into the wedding. Like, none of this, like, your father walking you down the aisle thing. Because he was like, do you know why we do that?
Yeah.
It's because you were literally giving away your daughter
Yeah.
in, like, land exchange. It's a business agreement.
Yeah.
Between like two dads being like, hey, our kids should get married so like maybe our families will stop feuding and then you can give me like 40 horses or something.
Yeah.
Like whatever it was. Obviously that's like, but he said that like your father walks you down the aisle so that you can't run. In case he's like putting your arm in a chokehold. It's not like, oh, here's my arm so you don't fall and trip because you're wearing heels. It's like, you cannot run if that man is ugly up there. Because, like, they didn't have photos. They had portraits. And, like, we've all gone to galleries. Like, those people do not look human in those portraits.
Right.
So you don't actually... And also, they're very forgiving. They're going to make you look nicer than you probably actually look,
yeah.
you know? And also, not everybody got a portrait because that was very expensive. So, anyway, so he, like, puts your arm in a chokehold and you have a veil so that the groom can't run. If you, like... Because you don't lift the veil until it's, like, done. Like, the ceremony's done.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So.
And then it's the whole, like, you may kiss the bride. It's like, you can...
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have sex now.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you're obviously, like, in white, and it's, like, purity and whatever. Which, obviously, the priest is like, yeah, no sex till marriage. But, like, the rest of it, he was like, what? No.
Yeah.
And, like, it has been so long since I was in high school. And the fact that I think about that particular day so much, that's my Roman Empire.
Like the origins of marriage and all the symbolism behind it. Yeah.
And like technically like engagement rings didn't come about until like the 30s. That was like a De Beers like marketing campaign.
Well, yeah, I mean now it's like the modern like dowry kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that is... Did you watch Bridgerton?
I saw the first season, maybe the second one. I haven't watched the most recent one.
I was having this conversation with another friend and they were talking about like, okay, like they were talking about like the dowry system. It's like, so what, if you don't have money, how do you are you still expected to do a dowry? Are you only expected to do like love marriages? And it's just like, well, no, if you don't have money, you like exchange cattle, like a cow or a
Land,
goat or something.
yeah.
It's like you give whatever you can, but there's always been a dowry aspect to marriage where there's like, a transaction of some sort.
No, it really
And it's
was.
just, I don't know. I mean, that's what I've always kind of looked at marriage as that, as just more of a business transaction.
Well, that's the other
Which
thing,
is
too,
fine.
You're signing legal documents with
Oh,
somebody.
yeah.
I think there does have to be some sort of like business thought around it.
Right.
Not from like your parents, not from anybody else, like, but from you and the other person that you are entering a legal agreement with.
Right.
Because you are tying your finances to them. You are tying so much to this person. And like love will not rescue, or love will not like salvage somebody who's going to like screw you over if you do get divorced. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so love does not conquer all. Obviously, I think you should love the person. It's not entirely, I don't think that like having a sort of like business mind about it or like being practical about it takes the romance out of it. I just think people are so caught up in this idea of like, I need to be married, I need to do this, whatever, like we've been dating X amount of years, whatever, and they sign legal documentation with somebody that like perhaps they should not be.
Right.
Because they just want to be married.
But also it's like the contract of marriage.
Yeah.
If you don't have a prenup, you're just taking the contract that the government has like templated for you.
Right.
And so it's just kind of like, I think women are getting a lot more like advocating
Like
for
savvy.
for prenups in their marriages too.
Yeah.
I think couples are just understanding that it's not like it used to be like, oh, you're expecting this relationship to fail with a prenup. It's like, no, you're just creating a contract that makes sense for you as a couple.
Right.
And it's just, but I think it's always been, I don't know, an easier, like framing it as like, oh, you don't love me or something. I think that ultimately it benefits the guy in that situation most of the time, just depending on how you look at it. But a fun thing to go on a tangent about. The original question was like,
so anyway, I was like, wait, there's more.
what were you gonna say?
No,
going.
just like my unhinged rants about marriage from somebody who's never been married. But so like the idea of like marriage for love is like relatively recent.
Yeah, it's modern.
Yeah, like I mean, I think it was sort of more normalized in like the 1800s. I at one point like at 3 a.m. was like researching this stuff. But that's a very, very, very small amount of time when you think about like how long humans have been alive and getting married and doing these things,
Right.
But even so, even if you had the option to marry for love, quote unquote, you still had input from your families. You still like were only meeting people like in your echelon. So like, is it still really like a marriage for love? Like it's not exactly like arranged, but it's like not arranged. Like your parents are like pushing you towards like one person, or like it's strategic if you marry this person. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, that's always been like kind of a thing on my mind too. Is just like whenever I date someone, it's like, is my family gonna respond positively to this person? It's not like, it's like, yes, I need a person for me, but I also need someone that's like understands like the dynamics of being like, especially like Latino people too, like Latin families, immigrant families from wherever you come from, like it's just different depending on like where people come from. Like all of those are dynamics that you have to consider.
Yeah, I think in that regard, I'm less concerned about what my family thinks about them and more like if this person like does like can fit into the dynamic of like my family, you know what I mean? Because like I don't care what my family thinks about like who I'm dating per se, like unless like they're like that is a genuinely bad person.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh, okay, maybe you're right. But so I guess I shouldn't say that I don't care, but I'm like trying to choose my words like very wisely.
I mean, for me, it's not that I care. I want them to be like, if it's like too much of a clash between personalities,
Yeah.
like that would bother me.
Yeah.
Like I don't necessarily need their approval, but
That's,
I would like there to be like some understanding.
Yeah.
And it's like
for them to like fit in some
yeah,
capacity.
yeah. Because I mean, it's not great for that person either.
Right.
If they marry into a family that is just so hostile towards them. And so I think about that a lot. It's like, is this person gonna, I don't know, be treated in a terrible way or vice versa or something like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It sucks to have to like consider all that. And like, for me personally, I have like a huge family, but I've also just always kind of done my own thing. So
right. So I think that's what I mean is like, and especially like in being queer, my family's like my immediate family's like pretty accepting about it. But like even just coming out, I already felt like, okay, well, I'm already doing something that like my family probably doesn't approve of. So like, why am I like putting so much pressure on myself to like be a certain way in all these other aspects? Like I'm my own person. I'm not doing anything bad, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's kind of how I felt too. I'm just like, I'm in my 30s and I'm not married and I don't have children.
Yeah.
I'm already kind of like a disappointment.
Right. I work in entertainment. I didn't go to law school. My mom's just like, what else?
Yeah.
What else could you
my
possibly
family
do?
is like medical and business and it's just like, I'm over here like drawing stuff.
Right. My mom's like, when are you going to get a real job?
That part.
I'm like, well, technically I do have a real job. But...
I mean, I used to have a great job that paid me well. It's just right now, it's just such a weird time.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll get back to some resemblance of normalcy. And I feel like, you know, I actually am contributing to society.
Right.
But in the meantime, I'm doing this podcast, so...
And you're drawing things, you know?
And I'm still drawing things. Still doing all of that.
Yeah.
Right now I'm like learning SketchUp.
What is that?
It's like a architecture program.
Oh, cool.
Did you ever play The Sims?
Yes.
It feels like that.
Oh, I love The Sims.
Yeah. I'm just like building my dream house and all that stuff. But it's actual like architecture program. So
That's
I'm
so
just
cool.
like this is useful. It's also making me happy. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a transferable skill.
true. And I'm, having fun with it.
You could absolutely kill on The Sims now.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'll actually know the proper measurements of things and not like these, The Sims was bad though, because like anytime I needed money, I would just do like motherload.
Yeah.
Like, where's my cheat code?
Right. I'm like, you have to go to work again? Ew.
They have to like have a career and
Right.
actually like progress in it and like build their skills and all that. I'm like, this is like
That takes too long.
close to reality.
10,000 hours? No.
No.
But I will spend 10,000 hours on The Sims.
Right. I will be a pro at The Sims,
Yeah.
which is somewhat useful if you transfer it into SketchUp.
Exactly.
There.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway,
what song would you
What
play
was
at
the-
your wedding? Anyway, my point is that I have never really thought about it because marriage I did not think was for me.
fair.
Also, like, okay, there's this comedian, Fern Brady, who learned that she was autistic recently, but she was talking about how, like, she feels like weddings are, like, such a, like, weird foreign thing to her, and especially the part where, like, you're saying your vows in front of everybody, and she turned to her boyfriend or husband, and she was like, why do people do that? And he's like, well, it's, like, nice. You're, like, declaring your love for somebody, like, in front of all these people that you care about, and she was like, that feels like making a sex tape of my emotions. And I was like, yeah, my dream would be to like elope and not tell anybody.
I've thought about that.
Yeah. And then just come back and be like, hey guys, guess what? We got married.
Yeah. I've joked that like, cause I am like more private whenever I am seeing someone,
Yeah.
I've joked that like I will post them on my social media and it's the wedding photos.
Yeah. Literally. A year later, I'm like, oh, hey, by the way.
I got married a year
yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just got the pictures back.
Fine. But I think that's totally valid for some people, but not necessarily.
I love going to weddings.
Yeah.
You get dressed up. You dance with your friends. Weddings are so fun. I just don't want to be the person in front of everybody.
Yeah, fair enough. I am like less into weddings,
Yeah.
but mostly because it's just, I don't know. I'll get like, I always get asked to do stuff when it
Okay.
comes to weddings because I'm like the artsy one. They haven't asked recently, but I think it's also because like, I don't know, people like my friend group. There hasn't been like a wedding for like a while, but for a minute there, like some of my friends were getting married, and it was like not like the closest of relationship.
Yeah.
But I would get asked to do something or contribute in some way in terms of like basically free labor.
Right.
And I'm just like, I don't even like you that much, but
Okay.
sure, I guess.
Here's your wedding present. Okay, so then
Yeah.
that's way less fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I think it's, I don't know. It depends on who it's for.
Yeah.
Really. It's like, if I know the couple really well, then I'll enjoy myself. But if
Yeah.
I'm like not that close to the couple, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't really
No,
care.
agreed.
But yeah. And then it's just, when you go to like Mexican weddings, it's like the same 10 songs at every
That's
wedding.
also true. Yeah. And they go late.
Yeah, they do. And it's fun. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's not, but it's just kind of like, okay.
Right.
It's like, it's formulaic. I think
Yeah.
that's the part that I get kind of upset about. Oh, he's back.
I'm back.
Welcome. We're just talking about a dream guest on my podcast.
Well, I'll end it on this one.
Okay.
Best song of all time.
Oh my god. That's impossible to answer.
Okay, best song in your rotation right now.
Do you want to go first? I need to think about it. It's not that
Okay.
I like.
Well, Charlie said in that video, she said, "Hit me baby one more time" by Britney
I
Spears.
love "Hit Me Baby One More Time."
I know, and I'm just like, that's a good answer. I would say like that was like my answer
Yeah.
up until like 25. I
Yeah.
would say. Yeah, I still love that song.
Oops, I Did It Again.
Yeah.
Also love. Oh my god, what am I? I mean, right now I've just been listening to Charlie.
I was gonna say, I'm like right now it's the Billie Eilish song.
Yeah.
But
The
yeah.
Lord, Girl So Confusing. Listen to that like on repeat for like a month. I've been listening to a lot of like French artists
fun.
recently. Because I like, there's like a couple of French artists that I really love, and so because I was like listening to them a ton, then like Spotify, like all of my day lists were like, it's all French music.
music,
So now
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
like deep in a rabbit hole. But like greatest of all time.
That's a really hard question.
Yeah. Especially because it's like, it depends on the day, it depends on like my mood. Like, there's so much good music out
I
there.
know. Well, we can end it there.
Okay.
Inconclusive.
My tastes are too varied.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I like Charlotte Cardin. Is that on your list?
Mm-mm.
She's like French Canadian.
Yeah.
But that's like the only French artist that I
Okay.
really, really know and like absolutely adore. But yeah.
Do you know
good
Cordy
times.
Pierrette? She's another French Canadian artist who she's been around for like ever, but she's really good too.
I'll have to check that
Yeah,
out.
I'll send you some recommendations.
Okay, cool. But yeah, I think that's a good place to end. Thank you for
Just
coming.
chaos.
Yeah, a little bit all over the
A
place.
little
but-
unhinged rant with your ADHD friend.
Yeah. Well, we get along for a reason,
I know.
so like that works out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to my first episode,
Yay.
and thank you for
We
coming.
did
it. Yeah. All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Your Petty Friend podcast. Watch us on YouTube and listen to us on Spotify.